I've news for you. A new smart city is taking shape in Gauteng, in Lanseria, which will have 350,000 to 500,000 people who will call that place home in the next decade. Now, this process is being led by the Investment and Infrastructure Office in the presidency alongside the provincial governments of Gauteng and Northwest, working together with the cities of Johannesburg, Tshwane and Madibeng. This is a real city that is rising from the ground and going up.
Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Sphumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. Remember that if you want to be a part of our tech conversation, it's SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you if you would ever buy a phone with a screen that folds. This as Samsung has launched new foldable devices. Results of that are coming up later in the program. But first, here's what's coming up tonight. We go to the area of Umhlabuyalingana, which did not have any mobile phone network coverage just 2 years ago, but now has received a state-of-the-art ICT facility. We find out about Samsung's foldable devices, and our discussion is on the evolution of radio. This as it was World Radio Day this week. A few months ago, I went to the rural area of Umhlabuyalingana in KwaZulu-Natal. It's on the border with Mozambique. Until just 2 years ago, the area had no network coverage, and so you couldn't make a phone call if you were in the area. People would have to go to the nearest town. But they received that network coverage about 2 years ago, but still did not have any ICT resources. The government has gone to the area. They've now received a state-of-the-art ICT facility. It's been deployed at a local school. This is Mangozi in Umhlabuyalingana. School pupils here walk long distances to get to school. The area is remote and it takes hours to get to the nearest city. It's on the border with Mozambique. When we visited a few months ago, we found that they only received mobile phone network connections only 2 years ago.
Bekufanele ukuthi ngize ngigibele phezulu wesihlahla bese kuyima ngithola inetwork ngoba ucingo ngeke ngaba nalo kodwa inetwork ingekho.
Bengiye eposi. Iposi bekuyilona esishaya kulo ucingo.
Kazini Primary School had received a donation of computers from Vodacom, but only one teacher had basic computer skills, which means they were mostly redundant. Vodacom was the first to respond to a government plea to deploy cell phone networks here.
The intention was to make sure that we bridge the digital divide between what we refer to as urban, semi-urban townships, rural, but importantly, your very deep ultra-rural areas where either there was never coverage or there's partial scattered coverage in those specific areas. And we therefore have started with Umhlabuyalingana specifically and moving into Jozini and other clusters as well.
How do you identify yourself? By a number.
Now, Mantlenga High School has received a well-kitted out computer lab from government entity, State Information Technology Agency.
For us to have young people developing technologies that come from our country and the continent, we have to start very early so that we can be part of innovation.
The pupils at the school say it will help them develop the skills they've learned by themselves.
Because now I know how to do the codings, the programming, and I can also build the HTML, the browser, all the way down to the server, the application server, which we call it PHP, the Apache.
It's gonna help us daily because most of us want to acquire IT as a job, a future career job, so it's going to help us.
The principal says he's glad that this initiative has come to his rural school so kids here can also have a better chance of gaining university access.
They have got this time of technology, and we are living in a digital time, like coding and roboting and so on. So it is of a vital importance for us to eradicate the poverty, and also to looking forward for their careers as well.
But security of these machines is as much of a worry here as it is in many other areas.
We are, of course, concerned about things like security, as we have seen that even in Gauteng, which is the biggest province, well-resourced, there are serious challenges that you put a computer lab like today to help learners. Then the next day you hear that it has been erased, everything has been stolen, and people who steal these things, as we have seen in some areas, are people who come from the community.
The pupils promise they will look after the machines as they will help them in future.
Teacher gave me some assignment. I gonna go to this computer and search something, then get more knowledge.
As South Africa is piloting a robotics and coding curriculum, it is people in areas like Umhlabuyalingana who would get left behind if they don't get basic technologies and skills needed for it. The government has promised that the necessary support will be provided so these computers don't sit redundant, as we've heard sometimes happens in many rural areas. A lot of us probably don't even check where we log on and how safe we are when we are online. Those are the issues that Safer Internet Day wants to highlight. Here's producer Sandile Hlangani.
The internet can be wonderful for kids. They can use it to research school projects, communicate with teachers, and play interactive games. But online access also comes with risks.
Privacy is a big thing. So as a young child, you'll always think it's easy to just put up all your information online and not know how to activate your privacy settings. If your information is not private online, it's so easy for a virtual stranger that you don't know, that you would have never known, to make contact with you and utilize your information and clone your account for other means.
In recognizing Safer Internet Day earlier this week, Google joined forces with its online child safety campaign partners to equip learners and parents with tools and knowledge.
I think for any organization, especially that plays online, Safer Internet Day is so important because it's an opportunity for us as organizations who are tech online based to really work hard in making sure that we are promoting a safe environment that people can use all of our products.
The role of the Safer Internet Day is actually very important in the sense that today our children are exposed to pedophiles online, to people that are luring them for money or for other inappropriate acts that they want to do to the children. So it's very important because we're exposing our children to all these technologies without ensuring that they are safe in that community of the internet.
Google says Safer Internet Day aims to raise awareness of emerging online issues and encourages everyone to use the internet in a safer and more responsible fashion.
So today we launched Be Internet Awesome, which is an initiative that allows parents, children and educators to work as a unit in terms of deciding how they behave on the internet and how children play on the internet. And this is really working on giving the kids the courage and the empowering them to be able to make good choices online.
Many kids are confident that they know how to be safe online.
I've learned that we must always switch off your locations. Like when I'm active on maybe Google, and then after I've done my research, then I turn off my location so that when they are looking at me, they cannot trace my location.
Those who are truly interested will actually take in the information and let it out to others. So it's not really difficult to let out the information. It's all about how we take it out for them to be interested in.
I've learned a lot about the internet and how an individual can learn more about the safer sides of the internet. For example, how to use internet safely, as in like on Facebook, on all social media platforms.
Every year, Safer Internet Day brings tools, education, and awareness to create a safer internet for both kids and adults.
Samsung held its Unpacked event in Johannesburg recently. They released their latest versions of foldable devices. They say these ones are unlikely to crack and can be folded quite a number of times too. Producer Lebo Mokomela was there.
It seems that flip phones are making a comeback in this new decade, with Samsung unveiling their newest member of the Galaxy series family, the Z Flip.
This is a fantastic new device. There's no compromises here. Beautiful cameras, an amazing screen. I mean, the technology that we have there is ultra-thin glass. So it's not even plastic. So this is latest bleeding-edge technology right here.
The comeback kit follows the unveiling of an all-time favorite, the Motorola Razr, in November 2019. However, some feel that the Z Flip smartphone falls more on the feminine side.
It's feeling very light. First, it's a very good phone. You can use it while it's like this. But as they said it's for women. To me, that's what I think.
Oh, so you wouldn't buy it for yourself?
But it's a good phone.
Samsung also revealed their latest flagship smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy S20 series. The device has got thumbs up from those that got to play around with it.
It just seems to have a lot of powerful features for content creation, and the camera and that kind of stuff. It's quite versatile in terms of the different uses you could have for it.
I only enjoy games on a bigger screen where things look a bit more real and a bit faster, but I like how they've managed to captivate me in this way.
The S20 came as a surprise to many who anticipated the launch of a Galaxy S11.
These phones are not just an incremental improvement. This is a revolution. This is a big jump. And we thought we expressed that in the name of the device as well. So you look at the features that they have. Space zoom, 8K. I mean, the feature list is endless. But what we know for sure is that the customers are going to be so surprised. They're going to love this device going into the new year.
The high-end smartphones were revealed in San Francisco, California, and was live-streamed globally on Tuesday, February 11th.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, News Network at sabc.co.za and email. After the break, we discuss World Radio Day. Stay with us. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome back. We are in the Durban City Centre. While in the past, a lot of people would have listened to the radio at home, perhaps in the car as they drive to work or school. These days, you see a lot of people with their personal devices and headphones on. It's become a personal thing to do. Producer Sandile Hlangane takes us through the evolution of radio and where we are today with online radio and podcasting.
If you think about the fact that if you are in Johannesburg, you are Johannesburg bound versus being in Johannesburg and having an imprint on the internet where a person in Germany can tune into your radio station via the internet. I think there's absolutely every reason to embrace online radio for better reach, yes, absolutely, and also because the excitement of being able to interact with other audiences in different spaces is a bigger excitement.
Online radio stations, they sound cool, however, the tricky part about it is just that the data. I mean, like, we are all crying about data in South Africa, so it's still cheap for me to do it via traditional and just listen on my radio. It's cheaper, so it makes more sense for me financially, that is.
I decided to tap into online because, like, the youth is online now. Like, everybody is online, everybody's always on their phones, everybody's always on their computers. We consume most of the content on the internet, so it was something that, like, popped in my head, like, okay, cool. In order for us to relate to the youth what we are doing most of the time, so let's just go online, feed them the content online that they are used to, something that they can relate to. So that's where we decided, like, okay, cool, let's just create an online radio station that's gonna be for the youth and about the youth.
I think when you listen to content on traditional radio stations, it's really not what you want to hear. It's not informative. It's not capturing, really. You listen to it because you're in the space where they're playing that station. On digital, you can access content that you like, content that's relatable to you, that you can use, and it's very informative. So I think digital over traditional.
The internet is such a wide space, and terrestrial has got its limitations. And the reason why younger people are more online is because in conversations they're more online. You can talk to someone who is in Bolivia while in South Africa through the internet. In terms of channels as well on TV, you're able to get content from other countries. It makes every sense in the world for young people to actually want to be online in terms of radio.
Let's now continue our discussion on the evolution of radio and its importance. Advocate Robin Siulal, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Maybe if you can start by telling us about the importance of radio, especially in the African context.
Well, radio is such a soothing, charming medium where the friendship, the compassion, the one-to-one style of broadcasting comes to the fore. So it sustains people, it gives people hope, it gives people an opportunity to play out their hopes and dreams. But on a broader level, radio is such an important medium, has such huge reach, great for education, great for entertainment, great for information.
And is a day like World Radio Day important?
Absolutely important. I'm glad that UNESCO has dedicated a day to radio. Radio, in my mind, will still be the number one choice for news, current affairs, entertainment, and information for many decades to come, not just in the developing countries, but also in the developed world.
Is radio not facing a threat, especially from online platforms?
Not so. I mean, we've had so many platforms emerging. It started with television, and then it started with videos, and then it started with cell phones. It started with various ways of kind of capturing the attention of the viewer and the listener. But radio has still remained the number one choice for many people around the globe.
What would you say to someone, let's say one of your students, for example, who wants to start an online station?
Yes, why not? The big difference between getting an online station and getting a station, a terrestrial license, in a manner of speaking, is that you don't need a license for online. I will encourage anybody to apply for an online radio station. Obviously there are challenges, and the biggest challenge is revenue. If you can sustain your station, good programming, quality programming output through an online station, by all means go ahead. There's always going to be a market for different types of programming.
And there are those who say those online stations are probably here to take over.
The SABC will always be here. Commercial radio will always be here. Community radio will always be here, no matter what medium comes to the fore. I mean, like I said earlier on, radio is such an important medium that people rely on that. And there's a relationship of trust that's being built over the years, over the decades. And that's why I believe radio will continue to be the number one choice.
And for the consumer, the internet is expensive.
Yes, it is expensive, especially in a South African context. But listening to radio on the internet, it's not necessarily listening to radio. You know, there's some myths attached to listening to radio on the internet, and I suppose also listening to radio on your cell phone, on your mobile phone, and perhaps some people have these handheld watches that listen to radio, but it's not really the right way and the traditional way of listening to radio.
Advocate Robin Siulal, thank you very much for being a part of our network.
Your body now, original, this signal where I get from you, set for you, I don't set for you. Monica wine for the do, yeah. Yo, what's up, my people? You already know it is your boy Frenzy. Been thinking about it. Have you ever wondered or ask yourself what my favorite piece of tech is. Have you? Well, in case you haven't, let me tell you, it is my phone. It is my phone. Let me tell you why. You know, I send emails on this phone. I write my lyrics using this phone. I make music with my device, you know, when I feel inspired and I'm not in the studio. You understand? Like my whole entire life, to reach my family, you know, to talk to my friends, respond to my fans on social media. I always use my phone all the time.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Today we're in the Durban city centre. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the technology space.
Britain defied the United States by granting Chinese technology firm Huawei a limited role in Britain's 5G network. The United States, including Pompeo and President Donald Trump, had been lobbying Britain to exclude the firm on security grounds.
Technology changes rapidly. I mean, we talk about 5G, it's going to be here for a period. What is the greater challenge for us is, as the ongoing technological innovations happen and the evolution happens, is that we think a bit more smartly and strategically, the UK, but also I think with our Five Eyes friends, and in particular the US, about how we build up a stronger diversification of players in this space, particularly around tech companies that feed into our telecom system. And that's a challenge we've been very honest about.
Britain's Huawei decision came at a critical juncture as the country left the European Union on January 31st and began negotiating a trade deal with the United States that hopes will allow more freer transatlantic trade. And now in Spain. Cisco Systems Inc., Sprint Corp and Facebook Inc. on Tuesday became the latest US technology companies to pull out of the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona due to the coronavirus outbreak. The organizer said on Sunday participants from China's Hubei province, where the coronavirus outbreak began, would not be allowed to attend the event, and the visitors from China must prove they have been outside the country for at least 2 weeks prior to the event. The event is important to Barcelona, whose economy got a boost of around 470 million euros last year from the conference, according to GSMA. Chinese companies including Huawei, ZTE, Oppo and Xiaomi are still attending the event.
Now, as Samsung launched its new versions of foldable devices recently, our Twitter poll this week is asking you if you would ever buy a foldable device. Now, 38% of you say yes, you would buy a foldable device. There's another 38% of you who say no, you would not buy a foldable device. At 19%, those of you who say you don't know. And there's a further 4%. Those people say only if it is a popular trend. And that's it. That's all we have for you. From me, Spumele Zondi, and the rest of the team right here in Durban, you can find us online. We are on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. It's bye-bye for now.